What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is John Alexander, and today I just wanted to come back on here on YouTube. Haven't really just had a face-to-face, a one-on-one with you guys in a minute. I just been really busy with life, been really busy being in a rut, to be honest. But just got out of that. Super excited to tell you this realization that I came up with. I was actively inspired to come on to here and give you an interpretation of all the things that I've just been going through uh, this past couple months. And I mean, it's been a lot. Recently in November, I shot a movie, I shot a short film. Still working on that. It's called Gifted and Talented. And that honestly took a lot of creative energy out of me. That took a lot of energy to put together. It worked out. Things were shot, I mean, better than expected. Everything played out more than ideal. Just super excited for when that's finished. In post production right now, but everything's gonna get done. But besides that, just finishing school. Um, my senior year in college. Um, yeah, things have been good though. Life is good. Recently I had been dealing with some sort of like anxiety, some weird like, and I hate saying that because it's like so weird. You know what I mean? Like to me, like that stuff is weird. Like I think about myself, I'm like, I would never experience some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't really, that's not really me. Like I'm normally I have an overactive mind. Like, and I think that's my gift, and I thank God for that because like I always have ideas running through my head. So like that's naturally me. I overthink myself into success. I try not to let it get the best of me. But recently I just been thinking a lot about like, well, it's just kind of been feeling uncertainty, and that kind of turned into some sort of anxiousness where I was just like, I don't know if any of this shit's gonna work out, any of this shit in my life, um, like I said, the short film, or just like I don't have a job right now, or whatever it is, right? Or even like, is YouTube gonna work out? Is any of this shit really gonna work out? And I think everybody goes through this phase at least once in their life, if they're conscious enough of their shortcomings or the things they feel like they could work on. But yeah, that was like one of the things I had to go through. That uncertainty. It put me through like a deep feeling of worry. And usually I try to leave all my my things up to God. Like I try to trust that the universe will get me through anything. And I usually let it do its thing. But I think you can't expect to develop any sort of discipline or anything worth living for without trial and tribulation, Um, and I'm usually the person to say that in the first place, right? I'm usually the person to preach that, like transcend failure. That's my website, my brand, my merch. I literally wear that, and I ask myself, I'm like, what does that really mean? But obviously it means to transcend failure, to transcend your shortcomings, to make your weaknesses your strengths. Um, to go through those moments of uncertainty and to build and develop an unshakable level of resilience, and that's what I was going through, this past last week, you know, um, but I felt, like grace kind of saved me in a way, um, because I'm like, I don't know if any of these things in my life are gonna work out, like anything. Like I was questioning everything about myself, and I was just doing deep reflection. And um you know last Friday I don't know, I was still feeling like this tension in my body, but I had gotten to class late, And then it was like the universe was kind of like smiling at me in a way, you know, like everyone was like being so nice to me, and the world was just reflecting back to me like a really like deep unconditional love. And some of these people were strangers, you know, that I was meeting, you know, because I had a television class, and we were shooting a production. And um one of the guys, like the host of the show that we were producing, was like being really cool with me and like really open and really friendly. And it like, I don't know, it took me out of my head, you know? So that was like the first realization that like, okay, things are like, you know, things are kind of, I don't know, cuz I things aren't bad as I feel internally, you know? So it was taking me out of that. It was like kind of, I felt like it was God, you know, in a way. Um but I then eventually, like after that, like I had interacted with a person that I had seen earlier in the week, and it was like, oh, like, because we had a funny interaction at a vending machine. And it was just like the way these things were like coming to me, I felt like a magnet. Everything was just like, you know, it was smooth. And then like I started going on ChatGPT and like trying to figure out what it is that I'm missing in my life, because I felt like I was missing something, you know. And I think that's where the uncertainty was coming from. Like, I know that I need to get my habits aligned with where I want to be, but what is it? And I came to the conclusion, I was like, yeah, I need to start getting back into meditation, because I used to be really heavily deep into meditation. I used to be really deep into meditation in like 2021. Um, Through like 2023, I mean, I was pretty consistent. It wasn't until like last last year that I kind of got sidetracked because I was going through something. Um, I was going through a little situation. Hopefully, I can tell you guys about that. Hopefully, I muster up the courage to tell you guys that, like, within the next couple weeks or months, you know. But comment 1, 2, 3 if you got to this point in the video. But anyway, um, yeah. So I came to that conclusion. I was like, meditation, okay. And then as soon as I get to the class, it's a dance class. It's actually a requirement for me to graduate, like physical education or whatever. And the first thing she says when we walk in, the professor, she goes, "All right, guys, sit down. We're gonna ground." And then she's like, "I want you guys to close your eyes, you know, sit crisscross applesauce." And she made us meditate. And I was like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Yo, this is literally, this is what, like this is just the universe. Like everything was just working out so like it was wild." And I was super appreciative. It was like my heart started to open again after being so tense, and like everything just started to be more, you know, cuz I'm a firm believer that your body tells you that something's not right. You know, that your body is your indicator to, you know, your body's your guide essentially in this life, you know? And that tension was telling me that something in me wasn't right. Something in me needed to be released. Something in me, I had to let go of something. And but it wasn't what I thought it was. That's the thing. Before, I was really quick to leave situations or to leave relationships or to leave things that, you know, maybe I didn't really grasp the whole lesson of what it was that I needed to learn. But I always took, you know, protecting my peace as like a um as a means of like safety, you know, from like any sort of harm or whatever. Um, but yeah, so after some deep reflection, so I went. So after class, I ended up going to a coffee shop that I go to most Fridays. You know, they play jazz at this cafe, and I usually say what's good to. I usually say hi to the, you know, the men that play the piano and the cello and stuff like that. And usually I'm the one saying hi, or I'm the one acknowledging them. But today they acknowledged me. They were like, "Hey," like they gave me that respect, and I felt it, and it was cool. And And then, I'm drinking my coffee. I started to feel a lot more peace. I went back on ChatGPT because I'm like, yo, it's surprising how much of a resource that, how much reflection you can do on that platform. I mean, it amazes me. I've done so much on it. And I know my information's on there, but, I really don't have anything to hide. Um, but I ended up having a conversation with one of the guy that plays piano. And I'm a big fan of jazz actually, and I've really been getting into it recently. It actually calms your nervous system. I would recommend it. But anyway, I was speaking to the guy, and then we just connected on Bill Evans. I don't know what I said to him, but I was like, "Excuse me, sir." I was like, "Can you play Time Remembered?" Like that's the song. And it's actually in my last vlog if you want to check it out. It's in the intro. But he was like, "Oh, I don't know that one." He said, "Oh, that's Bill Evans." And he's like, "Yeah, I saw him back in '68." And like, but like just the way like he was so intrigued to talk about this stuff. Like it made me happy. It made me really like genuinely happy. And then after I did the reflection on ChatGPT, uh I was having like this tension in my throat that I didn't know what it was. But I realized I'm like there was like five realizations in one, so I'm gonna try to articulate it in the best way possible. But um, essentially, I found out that the only way to discover what love is to go through pain. So pain is the guide. Pain is the path to that. Um, my sister just walked out of the room, so I don't wanna talk too loud. But yeah, pain is the path to love, to unconditional love. And the reason we're here is to love one another. And I know we always hear that. We always hear that, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to love others, have compassion, be kind, whatever. But there was a couple months ago, I met up with my friend Ali, and we had a cigar. And he told me that. He told me that he had an experience where he said that he came to the realization that love is why we're here. It's the literally the foundation. It's the reason why we're here. We're supposed to love one another. And you always see it, right? Like Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, Buddha, whatever. Like you see the common theme in every religious, you know, story or allegory that these entities were practicing love. So, he said it to me, and I obviously it resonated as knowledge. But I realized afterwards, on this past Friday, I realized that it was from a place of wisdom. It was from a place of like actual wisdom. You see, there's a difference. Knowledge, yeah, you can know a lot. You can know a lot. But to be wise is to have experience. And that's the place he was talking from. And I got it in that moment. I got it when I realized that pain is the path to love. Pain is alignment with your highest purpose. It's not all about bliss. That's not the reason we're here. Pain is the indicator that you're on the right path sometimes. And when that hit me, when that like just kind of seeped into me and I was like, "Oh," then all this tension went away. And like all this stuff like just lifted off of me in that moment when I realized all that stuff. I was like, "Oh." And then I realized like how much we carry from like our ancestors, like all the pain and all the things that like all the patterns and thoughts that we absorb from, like, our past, or like things we've been taught, that may not have been, the most in alignment with who we were put here to be. Um, I thought about like I thought about the fact that, like, sometimes I used to feel like I had to earn love, that I had to do things to earn love, and I think a lot of people resonate with that. But I think there comes a point where you have to realize that you are love itself. You have to become love itself. I read a book, or I listened to a book. It's called The Game of Life by Florence Scovel Shinn, and it talks about how Jesus is resonating. Jesus is vibrating in the fifth dimension. This is why when you call on that, right? When you call on Jesus, when you call on any religious entity, the power comes from the fact that these names, these entities radiate in a dimension where evil can't exist. And evil can't exist. Evil and fear can't exist where love is present. So, yeah, I realized, I was like, so, like, going back to the fact that, like, I was saying, like, I had to earn love, or like, sometimes we feel like we have to do things to earn love. I realized in that moment, I'm like, I don't have to do anything. I just have to be. I just have to be me. Which comes to my next point, which is being authentic, being authentically you. You know, I don't like when people are just like, be yourself, because it's so much more than that, I feel like I had to unlearn a lot of things to be myself, and that's because of my upbringing, whatever. But I think it's so much more than that, I think being yourself, well, I think love can, no, I think when you are yourself, when you are fully, authentically you, that's when you can love to the fullest of your ability. That's when you can become love, because when you're authentic, you realize that you already are love. Everybody is going to come to realize that when they fully let go of things that don't serve them, or identities that don't serve them, they're going to realize that that's who they were the whole time. It was love. And I mean, that's just where I'm at right now. That's the craziest thing, because it was like I was carrying all this stuff, and I think it's the fact that I was identifying with things that I just didn't I couldn't identify with anymore in the space that I'm in right now. I had to let go of those things to come to a new space, to come to raise up, to level up. I had to let go. And that's been a common theme in my life, where I had to let go of a lot of things. I had to let go of, obviously they manifested as like, people, or like relationships, or you know uh, uh, experiences, or environments, or establishments, or whatever I was taking part in. But this time it was something so internal, and it's so crazy because it manifested. It was like a flower, like, just blossomed, and I feel like everything in my life is harmonious right now, and I think that everybody has that power. Everybody has that power. Everybody has the ability to tap into that side of themselves. But you have to embrace the chaos. You have to embrace those moments of uncertainty, because you can learn a lot in those moments of uncertainty. And I think I have myself. Like, there's been so many times in my life where I've just been lost. But, now I realize that you have to be lost to be found. You have to feel pain to feel bliss. You have to feel hate to feel love. You have to, and it's just the duality. It's just how life is. And there's a lot of peace in accepting that. You can't run away from the pain. You can't seek things. And this is the first time in my life where I didn't try to escape it. And that's why it means so much to me where I'm at, because I didn't feel like I had to use some sort of substance, or some sort of habit, or indulgence, or addiction to, you know, escape or get away from the fact that I had some work to do inside, or I had some things to acknowledge within myself. Um, so that's where I'm at, guys. You know, I felt inspired to come here and talk to you, and hopefully this resonated with someone. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.